Welcome to another episode of the Terry McGriff Show. What a wonderful week we have in store for you guys. We got a great show today. It's draft week. One day before the draft here on this Wednesday evening, I'm here with my illustrious co-host, Andre L. Sullivan, sitting again in those fabulous iHeart Studios, Jacksonville, Florida. Man, what is an exciting week. How about you? How you been feeling, my friend?
Man, it's another day, another dollar for me. I ain't getting none of that draft money. No offense to them that are, but yeah. I mean, I'm excited. Football, a hint of football is being dropped on us. But yeah, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, man. It's just that time of year. All the fans get excited. Just another big football event to get together, go have something to eat, go drink, be around each other with the game. We had some great stuff going on. I mean, if you want to consider it that way, it's exciting. I know here locally at the UFC where they had a capacity crowd. The place was sold out, and they didn't even have a mask mandate last weekend. So, things are starting to open up. You're going to have all the guys at the that except for one that was I think it was his name, the cornerback from Virginia Tech had COVID, so he's not going to be at the draft. But most of those first round picks that accepted the invitation will be in Cleveland. So it's going to be exciting. I know the Jaguars here are going to be down at the stadium. I've seen they're at the stadium level having their draft party. So it's going to be exciting. I wanted to just take a minute before we get into our advertisers and just, send out some love and condolences and our thoughts and prayers to the family of former Jaguar Geno Hayes, who recently passed away. He died at the young age of 33 years old, and just wanted to send some love out to his family and all the, Jaguar. I think he was a Seminole too, if I'm not mistaken. And Seminole Nation, and condolences to that family and all those folks that really supported him. So, but man, it's a tough thing, but life moves on. So we'll focus on this draft, get ready for things. But before we do that, if you love our content, please hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button. And also, take care of our sponsors at SheCar, Watch Game Film, Team Sportswear Direct. And soon, hopefully, we'll have another sponsor coming on to support us here soon. But it's going to be really fun and exciting for these guys that supporting us to have you guys help them with their businesses. So, man, this is what we're doing. This is our draft special. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I think it's going to be fun and exciting. I'm anxious to hear your comments on this. So we're going to break this up in segments of 8, and we're going to talk about this, break this thing down, and see what happens as we, how our predictions. I think we're just as smart as anybody out there in the predicting world when it comes to the draft or anybody, because it's all a crapshoot. Nobody knows who's going to do what or who even going to pick who. But so if they can do it, we can do it. So that's what we're going to do. So you ready? You ready, my friend?
Let's see what you got.
Let's get started. Round 1. My whole thing is I know the Jaguars have been rumored to saying that they're not sure who they're going to pick, but we all know who they picking at number 1. And the first pick of the draft and the first pick of round 1 will be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Will be selecting Trevor Lawrence, quarterback from Clemson. I mean, he has all the tools, all the intangibles, supposedly be a franchise quarterback, and this team has never had what they considered drafted a franchise quarterback. So the closest thing we've had was Mark Brunell, and David Garrett did a pretty good job for a while. So we'll see what that, Then at number 2, I'm going to shake it up a little bit. I believe in going with what I see. As the scout in me, I believe in, the eye in the sky don't lie. What I seen on film and on tape makes me more comfortable than the flash in the pan and the Johnny come lately and the every shiny new toy that everybody see. So and the Jets have to get this right. Robert Saleh's taking over as a new coach there, and they got these guys got to get this right. So they're gonna know they're going with the known instead of the unknown, and they're going to pick Justin Fields, quarterback from Ohio State. So he's going to be the number 2 player that's being picked in this draft. And I think he's going to do well up there. He's got good family traits. He's got good support system. So I think he can thrive in the city of New York. Number 3, the 3rd pick in the draft is going to be very, very interesting, my friend. This is where everybody been trying to pencil in a quarterback right here. They've had all those guys penciled in, Mac Jones especially. But I think that the 49ers still see themselves as a Super Bowl contending team. And they're not 100% dissatisfied with the quarterback that they paid all that money to. And if you look at their record, as long as he was playing, they were winning. They didn't win when he didn't play. So, my friend, I am going to say that they're going to give Jimmy G another weapon. And what better weapon than to give Jimmy G than Kyle Pitts, the tight end out of Florida? And that's who I believe that they're rolling with. So I'm going to take this headset off so you should still be able to hear me. And we're gonna keep it rolling. So that's not number 3 pick in the draft. And the 4th pick in the left tackle out of Oregon, I see him as being the mainstay. I see that he is a guy. The Atlanta Falcons needed weapons. They thought, but they need to protect their quarterback more than they needed more weapons. And they strapped for salary. So, having a shiny new toy, I know they've been shopping or been saying they'll be taking offers for Julio, but I don't see that happening. I see them doing what they need to get done, and this man is going to do what he needs to do to get them going. And my next pick will be at the 6th pick, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to get. They were debating who they were going to go get, Penei Sewell or Jamar Chase anyway. So since Penei Sewell is no longer on the board, they're going to get what they perceive as the best wide receiver in the draft and give Joe Burrow his old teammate, Mr. Jamar Chase, wide receiver from LSU. Miami Dolphins going to be laughing and giggling because they're going to get what they think is the 1A, and Tua gets to play his old teammate. So he's going to get the Miami Dolphins with their selection will be picking Jalen Waddle, wide receiver from Alabama. And they're going to go and they're going to be just happy and snug as a bug in a rug on that one. My next pick, the Detroit Lions. New staff. They got brand new head coach in Dan Campbell. They're seeking to build that defense up. What better way to do it than to start out with on the back end with having 2 good corners? They picked the first round. They went first round last year and got them a starting corner. They're going to go first round this year. Remember, a few years ago, they kept picking wide receivers. This time, they'll get it right by picking 2 good, solid cornerbacks that'll solidify their back end because they were always pretty strong in the previous years at the cornerback spot. So they're going to pick Patrick Surtain, cornerback out of Alabama. And then I'm getting ready to let you take care and critique me, my friend, with the 8th pick. And if you just heard what happened, and I predicted this when I gave you the email yesterday. I sent you this yesterday. You can confirm this. I sent this before this news hit today. This is Wednesday afternoon, where the Carolina Panthers select Trey Lance. He falls all the way to them at number 8.
Well, that'd be number 9. That'd be number 9.
Oh, excuse me. I thought they were okay. I thought Denver was number 9, but okay, we'll that's what I have. So that's where we're going to go at right now. So I'll give you a chance to quickly critique what I'm talking about.
So before I even say what I have to say, there's a few statements that you made that kind of bother my spirit a little bit. One of the statements that you said, Jamar Chase being the best wide receiver in the draft. I take serious issue with that.
Okay.
Because I still don't see how people can. And this is no offense to you, but because I've been saying this to a lot of people who've been emailing me back and forth. But I honestly, and like I said, once again, no offense to you, tend to tune out everything after somebody makes that statement, especially when the Heisman Trophy winner is still on the board. And I hear you guys. I get it. Jamar Chase is a stud. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from him, but he's a bud behind the stud because somebody has hardware to say that they are the guy. And in the words of Ric Flair, to be the man, you got to beat the man, and that man never beat that other man. But that's just me. And then I don't know if you pay attention to social media. The Jacksonville Jaguars tweeted to NFL Network and ESPN last night, and they said, "I dare you to go to commercial break during the number one pick." Yeah. I don't want that to sit between your head for just a little bit there. When a social media account, and they did it on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, tells the two networks, and they added them just so they make sure you saw it. Told both networks, I dare you to go to commercial break during the number one pick.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So everyone who keeps saying, "Oh, we all know who the Jaguars are going to get," I'd like you to take a pause and just chill and enjoy your seat for a while. Okay? Just chill and enjoy your seat for a while. Because like I told y'all, midsummer, expect the unexpected from these cardiac cats. I'm not saying that they're not going to get Trevor Lawrence. I've never gone on record in saying that. All I'm saying is don't be surprised if they don't.
I got you.
All right, cool. Now, next up, you got Justin Fields going to the New York Jets. Listen, and here's the thing where I think you went wrong here. You made this pick with your eyes. And there was a little bit of fan in here that went with that. And the problem with that is when we think with our fan heart and think with our logical brains, we then X out the expertise of NFL scouts, recruiters, and front offices. Listen, I agree with everything you said. Justin Fields is that guy. Don't get it twisted. And if Trevor Lawrence is number one, Justin Fields is 1B. You feel me? And I get what you said, and I agree wholeheartedly with you. But for some reason, this guy from BYU tickles the fancy of a lot of people up there in New York. So much so that he's already been looking for houses in the New York metropolitan area. So listen, I hear you, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's a wrong pick right there. And then moving forward to San Francisco, listen. Again, I can tell you ain't been paying attention to your social media. And that's one of the tips. When we started this show, I told you need to start paying attention to social media. San Francisco's been on the phone with New England. Like, a lot.
Might be trading Jimmy G. I get you.
And yeah. So adding Kyle Pitts right now, when we don't know who's going to be on the center. And don't get me wrong, Jimmy G is I don't get it. I think Jimmy G is a great quarterback. He's not going to be the guy who's going to blow you out of the water, but he's an above average QB.
He got him to the Super Bowl.
Right, you know what I mean? And so having Kyle Pitts there is a little iffy for me just because, I mean, I don't see them drafting someone before they take care of that situation. And that's to say, who's to say that that's a situation for them? I don't know. That's just why I have issues with that pick. Now the Sewell pick from Oregon to Atlanta, I totally agree with. I don't see them getting rid of Julio Jones. If they get rid of Julio Jones before 7:00 tomorrow evening,
They deserve to lose all their games.
Yeah, man. You don't get rid of your
Hall of
Jack
Famer.
and the. Listen, no, not even that. Jack and the Beanstalk is more than just a fairy tale. It's a life lesson, people.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get rid of your money.
The golden goose.
Your money before you get yourself something else. You know what I'm saying? So I can see Sewell going to there and even protecting Matty Ice for another season or two. And then we get to Cincinnati. Listen, I get it. Jamar Chase going there. I get it. You know, lining him up with Joe Burrow again with the new uniforms that Cincinnati got. You know, Tiger to Tiger thing. It makes sense in theory.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the issue with that. They got rid of AJ Green in mid-off season, not to get capital to replace him. They got rid of him because they felt like, one, he can't stay healthy, and two, they didn't need him. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other holes that Cincinnati has to fill before they start worrying about who's catching the ball. They might want to protect their $1 million goose before they start going outside. And so then we get down here to Miami. This is where I have an issue with you. Because you tried me with Jalen Waddle coming off the board before a Heisman Trophy winner. Especially when the quarterback for the team drafted was the one who put the Heisman Trophy winner on the map. And I get it. Jalen Waddle's a guy, but Jalen Waddle is not a number one. Jalen Waddle's a number two and a guy who can return kick returns and just flash. Don't get me wrong, like Jalen Waddle's a scrub. He's not. Because if you remember correctly, I'm the one who mentioned him a couple of weeks ago in our guys to watch. Jalen Waddle's not a scrub. But that is the position where I see our Heisman Trophy winner, Devon Smith, coming off the board. Because if you line him up with Tua, oh my God. Just
well, I don't see him going wrong either spot.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Just now this Patrick Surtain, yeah, Surtain. I get that. Surtain. I'm sorry, I've been calling him Surtain for the last 3 years. He'll get over it. But nah, look, seriously though, Detroit has been depleted of their DBs. Literally. Like Jacksonville got one, and I forgot where Slay went. But yeah, they're going to need a DB now and now. Mm-hmm. And then we get down here to Carolina. Now, this is the interesting one. Because you got Trey Lance here, which I can see happening, but I can also see Justin Fields going in this spot. Just because Carolina right now I don't know what they're doing in their front office. They're just, hey, we're going to find our guy eventually or eventually. You know what I mean? And so I can see that happening. You know, I don't really understand the getting rid of Teddy Bridgewater when literally everyone who's left.
About an hour and a half ago.
Everyone the guys that they might receive play like Teddy Bridgewater. But you know, hey, you know, youth is a plus to some. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Mm-hmm. But I'll let you continue with the list, you know.
Okay, we're gonna go on. You analyzed to get a good job with the first 8. All right, let's keep it on moving here. With that 9th pick in the first round, the Denver Broncos solidify their offensive line because they need to find out if their young quarterback is the guy. So they got to give him some protection. So they select Christian Darrisaw, who is a monster of a man from Virginia Tech, an offensive tackle who can slide and play almost every position. All right. The next pick, number 10, the Dallas Cowboys. And boy, were they happy to get this spot. You know, they got the cell phone junior, and they drafted a cornerback to help solidify their defense. And they got the next best cornerback that they saw in their eyes off the block was J.C. Horn, cornerback out of South Carolina. And I really see the logic in that because they were terrible on defense. Now, our next pick 11, to me, the Giants start really building the defense to try to challenge to win the defense, win the division by selecting Micah Parsons, the just monster man of a linebacker, 4'3", 40 at 6'3", 244 pounds. Just that, I mean, I would like to see the race between him and their tailback. That's going to be fun because I think he came out of college playing running back too. So Michael Parsons is going to help solidify that defense. I mean, they haven't had a linebacker that good since Lawrence Taylor and Harry Carson and all that guys. So they're taking a little step back into the history books and picking up Michael Parsons. Now, your guy goes with a guy that I think they might be a special duo. The Philadelphia Eagles, trying to fix that depleted wide receiver core, select Devontae Smith from the University of Alabama as their number one receiver. And I see him being like a guy to play there for like 10, 11 years. So I think and Philadelphia will love him. With pick 13, the LA Chargers protect their quarterback, and they take the next lineman off the board, Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle from Northwestern. I mean, he's an outstanding player. I love this film this year. Now we also get the run on the offensive line with our next pick number 14. The Minnesota Vikings, because they need to make sure that they can keep their quarterback upright also, and they've had some losses on the offensive line. Take the next best guy, and Tevin Jenkins, offensive tackle, Oklahoma State. You were talking about that trade. This is why I figured that trade is not going to happen. With the 15th pick in the NFL, the 2021 NFL draft, the New England Patriots stay right where they are, and Mr. Mac Jones, quarterback Alabama, falls right into their lap. He's typical prototype size and type of almost kind of like a wannabe clone of their great quarterback they lost in Tom Brady. And I think he'll be there for the next 10 to 15 years if he can quickly grasp that system. And with pick number 16 in the draft, the Arizona Cardinals do the exact same thing. Our run on linemen continue with Arizona selecting Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive lineman. He can play anywhere on there from USC. He can play guard, center, tackle. He played both sides of that line. And he's going to really help solidify that, and he's going to protect their young quarterback, Kyler Murray. And I think it's going to be an awesome pick. And they're going to run to the phone and put that pick in. And I'll let you critique these next days.
All right. First of all, I'm just going to ignore the disrespect you keep giving to Devontae Smith. It's fine.
He's still a top 10 pick. He's a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
He got picked before his quarterback did.
That's what they keep saying. Okay. Listen, man. I started at the over here in Denver. You got it right. You just went and got Teddy Bridgewater. You better find a way to protect him because your quarterback. And I always tell people, and I tell this to my high school athletes. No matter how much you like or dislike a guy, he always plays better when he's on his feet. So you might want to block for him. Either way it goes. So, J.C. Horn to Dallas. I love that pick. I absolutely do. He's been balling over there in South Carolina. Of course, he's not going to get a lot of light because he plays for South Carolina. I'm sorry. But I mean, he's definitely worth it. 6'1" and 205 pounds. Come on now.
Lockdown.
Corner. Michael Parsons. Yeah, Michael Parsons to the Giants. I was iffy about that just because the Giants just don't draft well. I mean, they draft okay. You know what I mean? And then they get that good player in the first round, then they don't know what to do with him. You know what I mean? And so
you talking about OBJ?
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like they get those really, really good players and they be like, hey, we got a beautiful woman here. What do we feed it? You know what I mean? Like that's just how they do over there with the Giants, and it's just interesting to see them do that. Now, Now, next up, you have Devontae Smith going to Philadelphia. And I get the dynamic that you got there. Here's the problem with that. Philadelphia doesn't even want to name him the starting QB. You know what I mean? Like, I have issue with that. I have serious issue with that, and I get it. You don't. Oh, we're gonna do the old line where it's a QB battle. BS. All right, whatever. But if y'all want to keep playing with that man, all right, cool. He'll walk too. But this is the spot where I actually saw Waddle going because special teams in Philadelphia has been a dumpster fire for the last few seasons since they've been to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And so having Waddle there returning kicks for you could give them that spark that I feel like they desperately needed. Mm-hmm. Now, Rashawn Slater from Northwestern was iffy for me just because, the Chargers have so many holes that they got to fill on their defense. Not to say it was just bad, but it's just so many holes there. So that was an interesting one. But I get the run that's going on right there. Minnesota, Tevin Jenkins makes absolute sense. If y'all want Kirk Cousins to be healthy, sorry.
Yeah.
Here's where I took pause. Mm-hmm. They just signed Cam Newton to another one-year deal. Their offensive coordinator came out a couple of days ago during pre-draft interviews and said, we got to help him. That was our problem last season. We did not help Cam. Julian Edelman just retired. Mm-hmm. Who the hell Cam throwing to? I mean, real talk. Like, who is Cam Newton going to give the ball to?
Well, they did get 2 tight ends.
All right.
in the off season and free agency, but still, wideout does not mean.
Name their tight ends.
My point exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, like, get his man some help, yo. He is Superman, but damn it, Superman needed a Lois Lane, a Batman, and all of those other ones for the Justice League to work.
Justice League, yep.
You know what I mean? So, like, people, get the man help. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Tucker going to Arizona, it makes sense. Murray can't keep running for his life down there in the desert.
Right up the middle.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, the Zaven Collins to the Raiders was interesting just because they just got Ngakoue.
We ain't got that yet. You going too far. You jumped past me.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I ain't mean to spoil it. But yeah, man, listen, but nah. I get the run you got going on the linemen, and that tends to happen in the draft. Monkey see, monkey do with a lot of GMs. Mm-hmm. So I get where you're going. I ain't mean to jump the gun, but go ahead, do what you got to do.
It's all good. It's all good. We go get back on this bandwagon here. Give me a second. I love it. But that means what's for our fans? Hey, that's the enthusiasm. That's what we get right there. Okay, so like I said, pick 17. He already said it. Zaven Collins. To me, he's maybe the best defensive player in the draft. This man is enormous. 6'4", 260 pounds. I mean, he did it all, and he just carried the Tulsa defense. And I mean, he's going to be one of the new guys that's going to carry the Raider defense for the next 5 to 8 years, I see. Then we get the run on defense now for a little bit here. You got Jalen Phillips. He's going to go down and stay home, get to stay down in sunny Florida and play for the Miami Dolphins this time. One thing they got a little injury bug that he had been having, and that was his thing. But the guy's potential and what he did in pro day was just, and it's kind of hard to find 6'5", damn near 6'6" man at 266 pounds that can move the way that. And then what makes it better, the guy that bends like that. And he's good equally good against the run and the pass. So that's a great find for him. Next we got somebody that you probably never heard of, but I love what Washington's doing here. Washington has picked Greg Newsome He's a surprise. People may not know him well, but if you put on his tape, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. Greg Newsome is going to be one of those guys. He's one of those dudes. Next player we got is the next team with the 21st pick, Chicago Bears. You know, they just got a shiny new quarterback, but they needed to protect him also. So they get Samuel Cosme, the left tackle out of Texas. This is a mammoth guy. He's 6'7", 300 pounds. I haven't really seen too much on that little bit of tape, but a little bit I tell you, he's kind of a nasty blocker, and he's even better in the pass block. So they need a guy like that. And then the Colts continue their history of drafting these undersized speed pass rushers, and they select Azeez Ojulari, the edge rusher out of the University of Georgia. I totally get that. I totally understand that. And if they seem to scout these guys well, so I'm predicting some success, unfortunately, and I'm a Jaguars fan. Our next pick we're going to go with right here is the Tennessee Titans. Start this run on pass rushers and defense. They continue this run, and they draft the just motoring of a player in Kwity Paye, the edge rusher. But he's more than the edge rusher. He's 6'4", 272-pound defensive whatever you want him to be, out of Michigan. I mean, he has. If you saw his pro day, this is like a grown man. If he was another 20 pounds, I'd say he'd be the next coming of Reggie White, because he's almost that size and he plays like that. I'm not saying don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say he's going to be a Reggie White, but I'm talking about a big physical man. You can put him in the 3-4 at defensive end. He's still going to be a good pass rusher. But they're going to he's going over there where he's going to be in a 4-3, and he's going to be that type of guy. He can power through a running back. He don't just have to run around you. He can just take you and walk you right back to the quarterback. That's the kind of guy he is. And then our last one, but I'm going to let you go right here with this one, is Mr. Gregory Rousseau, the Miami end pass rusher, comes off the board. He opted out of 2021, which somehow, I don't know how it did. Most everybody else who opted out didn't hurt their stock, but his kind of fell down because he had a great 2019 put on the tape. His 2019, he was the guy at Miami. So he opted out to protect his draft status. I mean, this is a long guy, 6'7", 265 pounds, that can rush the passer. And I'm going to let you go ahead and critique these guys for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start where I accidentally left off with Zaven Collins. Yeah, man, with the signing of Unique Ngakoue, I get the Zaven Collins pick. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I know that's kind of an oxymoronic statement, but what I mean by that is, Unique Ngakoue is Unique Ngakoue. You turn on the tape, and I'll go to bat for that one all day. I remember literally sitting in the media room in the Jacksonville Jaguars, like, we don't need to pay Unique Ngakoue, and I'd be like, shut up. And I'm like, we don't need to pay Ngakoue. Hey, watch your mouth. like that's how hard I went for him. And it got to the point one day he was like, "Hey man, people think you starting to like me or something, bro." I'm like, "Hey, calm down." I'm like, "Oh, my bad, bro. I'm sorry." But yeah, man, no. And so Zaven Collins being there, don't get me wrong, he's a good guy. I've seen him play at Tulsa, in that American Conference, and he's a beast. I just don't see him going to the Raiders. And if he does, it would surprise me. It's just, and it'll probably be like how Jacksonville did Allen and having Calais Campbell. But it's just an interesting pick for me. Now Jalen Phillips, oh my God! If Miami gets him, that'll be, in my opinion, one of the steals in the first round because he is a beast. The kid. There's very few people that I say that play defensive end that okay, let me reword that. Let me go back. A lot of great defensive ends use technique. You know what I mean? Michael Strahan, even Calais Campbell. They're technique guys to the T. They could do the swim moves. They could come up under. They could get skinny right there in the hole and do a spin move. But Jalen Phillips, will beat you. Like,
he just gonna put see you.
Bump all that technique jump. Like, if you put your hands on him, you might think you in like a backstreet alley brawl or some jump because he getting ready to just beat you. The boy 266 and standing 6'5". He's not afraid of you. Like when I say he's gonna beat you, I mean he's gonna take his hands. He wants you to touch him, by the way. A lot of defensive ends don't like being touched. They trying to slap them hands off you real quick and go. He wants you to touch him. And then he's gonna go. And he might go through you. So but that's just me. Here's why I disagree with you, and not in a bad way, with the Washington pick. A lot of people do know Greg Newsome. Because if I remember correctly, the last time Northwestern played, Greg Newsome just shut down a whole side of the field.
Ohio State don't like. Well, who is that guy?
Yeah. Justin Fields had to start running a little bit because he couldn't throw to his main guy, who, by the way, sits at the Z position on the right. Like he's really that good. I think the knock on Justin. I think Greg Newsome would actually pick higher if he was above 200 pounds. And, him sitting at 190, that's good for college. And not saying he won't be good in the NFL, but the first thing out of his position coaching at Washington is going to be like, hey, I need you to put some weight on, bro. I need you to put some weight on you.
And keep that speed.
Yeah, because any small guy will tell you, you're either going to play corner small or you're going to play strong. You're going to play free safety small. You can't play strong safety at small. You can't play nickel small, and you can't be a press corner small.
No,
it doesn't work. And so, and it's not to knock him in his game. It's just, and that's just why he's probably going so low. It's because of that 190 pounds.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. We're going to go on then. We got the number 24 pick, and the Steelers are on the clock, and the Pittsburgh Steelers continue this pass rushing. I've seen this kid myself. He didn't get a sack, by the way. That was what I noticed about him. But he's one of those guys, like the Greg Rousseau guys. Jason Owa, he's an edge rusher out of Penn State. This guy's 6'5", 253 pounds. But one of the things I've noticed about him, he's a power rusher. You know what I mean? And I've seen him bend, but he plays the run as well as he plays the pass. And the Steelers jump on. He's a local talent, so they need a pass rusher, especially since they lost Bud Dupree. And with them playing, he's probably going to get switched to outside linebacker anyway, so that's going to fix him fine. He's going to be a long 6'5", 253 outside linebacker pass rusher, and they're going to be just fine. Now let's go to my Jacksonville Jaguars, second pick in the first round. If you noticed too, everybody watching, we haven't did any trades, and I am planning on doing it. We just cooking right down the board. But the Urban Meyer has been saying since day one, since he's been here, he wants speed, and more speed. And in my opinion, I can't believe this guy was not rated as high, but you got probably the best playmaker outside of Kyle Pitts in this draft. I mean, when you get the ball in this man's hand, it's a highlight. And so the Jaguars run to the table to select Kadarius Toney, who's sitting there for him, the wide receiver / running back / do all else / kick returner / whatever you need to get in the end zone. 6 foot, 190 pound wide receiver out of Florida. Next player in our draft here at the number 26 pick. I'll just use my paper on that one. The Cleveland Browns on the clock. They select, unless you're in the SEC, you may not have heard of this guy. But if you watch Kentucky, Javen Davis was all over the place. And he's a big man. 6'4", 235-pound linebacker that's going to help Cleveland, who's trying to build a beast of a defense all of a sudden. Going to help Cleveland like that. And I seen him. He's a beast of a player. If you're a fan of the SEC, you know all about Javen Davis. With our next selection, 28th pick in the draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Carlos Basham, edge rusher out of Wake Forest. I've seen them, and you as a Seminole fan know all about this young man. This is a pass rushing fool. Another big guy, another beast of a man at 6'5", 285 pounds. He's a man. He's a grown man. And Baltimore doing what they do. They like them big, nasty defensive linemen and pass rushers. So good luck with that, AFC North. Another quick run up to the podium, because they ain't even going to wait long, because they can't believe that this guy fell here. And the reason he fell is because of his medical, because he done had back surgeries, and they're just hoping he can stay on the field. And with the Saints losing some good defensive backs, the New Orleans Saints run to the podium with their car and select Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia Tech, who's probably the most talented guy that's on the board when healthy. I love this guy out of Virginia Tech, and I just couldn't see him playing. If they can keep him healthy, they got one that might be not just a Pro Bowler, but an All-Pro for the next few years if he can stay healthy. I mean, I want to sing a guy praises more than another, but I really like this kid. All right. Our next pick, Green Bay Packers. All the wide receivers that they're off the board. I almost picked a guy, but that I thought that might be slip into the first round, but they did pick up some guys in free agency. The Green Bay Packers did, and the way that in the last two NFC Championship games the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the San Francisco 49ers went through the Green Bay Packers defense. They say Aaron Rodgers can carry us and we can score enough points. We need to stop somebody to get this in Super Bowl. So they need the most help is in the middle of their defense. So they picked probably one of the best and most unheard of defensive tackles in the draft is Levi Ozanarki, if I pronounce that. Please forgive me, man. Ozanarki out of Washington. He's a nasty 6'3" defensive lineman with real quick twitch. He can put him in the 3 technique, and he can really get to the passer. If you watch this guy's film, he's one of the fastest. He got one of the fastest get-offs in college football. So that's who Green Bay selected. Next pick is the Buffalo Bills, who had picked number 31. No, 28, excuse me. The Buffalo Bills, they got a great defense. They do not have a lot of needs per se on that defense. But what they are doing, they got some guys coming up for contracts, and they need depth there. They don't have a really great nickelback. So they're going to get one of the fastest guys, and he's probably would be the reach of the draft. But because they already, with Trey Davius White and all those guys there, they got a couple of good starting cornerbacks. They can develop him to go to back out of Georgia. 6'2", 285, ran of 4.2, 4.25, 40. He's one of the fastest players in the draft. I see them taking him, and I think they'll live with that, and they'll try to make a championship and run back to the AFC title game where they lose to Kansas City again. All right, our next pick. With the 31st pick, the Baltimore Ravens, with the trade with Kansas City Chiefs, select the bolster that defense even more. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. They didn't know they got rid of a headache because Orlando Brown II didn't really want to be there. Kansas City needed a tackle. They swapped picks and some other picks to make it even up. And Baltimore say, thank you very much. We're gonna rebuild this defense because we lost a few guys in free agencies. That's what we need. And this is probably the biggest thumper in the draft. If you watch his film, every time he put his hands on somebody, they're going down immediately. And you hear a lot of oohs and ahs with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And to end the first round of the draft, the Super Bowl champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, really, what do they need? Do they have a need? Can you name one? They don't have anything glaring, but so one of the things they do like to do is get after the pass rusher and stop the run. So they're going to bolster the defense because they did have some injury toward the middle of the season when they made that little lull. So to bolster their defense, probably one of the better defensive tackles, if you look at his tape at the end of the season, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected Christian Barmore, defensive tackle at 6'3", 310 pounds out of Alabama. And I think they play. We're good. We good with that. We got one. We can keep this 1 year deal that we got with some of these guys. And when that went over, we got our guy for the future. And that's what we're going with that, my friend.
All right, I'm gonna start back here with this Greg Russo pick with the New York Jets. Listen, I agree with it. I like it. I think that's a really, really good pick. Miami's always just been good for defensive players. I mean, we can go back into the pits of hell to find where I haven't seen a bad Miami pick yet. Don't no, they've had bad players. Just haven't seen a bad pick from the U yet. Jason Orr to Pittsburgh makes sense. Putting him with Watt on one side and him on the other is actually a little bit scary. Not gonna lie. Here's where I have issue. I like the Kadarius Toney pick. I just don't like it right there.
Really?
And being the reason why, because looking down the rest of the draft, there's no one itching for a wideout. So picking Toney right there is just like, okay, well, he was there.
Green Bay. That's
well, and see, that's the thing. That's the only team I could see probably grabbing him. But I think they're still looking for another number one. If that makes sense. They got a number one, though. They got a number one at Devontae, but that's the thing. If Aaron Rodgers is sitting in the room, like I probably think he will be, he's like, hey, I need another number one. Because a number one and a number one makes 6. And that's a quote from John Elway, by the way. But yeah. And with that being said, I kind of saw them going after Trayvon Moorhead from TCU.
I can see that.
The safety, because what did the Jaguars have problems with last year? Getting burnt over top. But especially getting burnt over top. So
stopping the run. Yeah,
right. And so seeing and especially them having the number one pick in the second round, I just feel like Tony's gonna be there, and that's not a knock on him. Say that he's a bad player and not worth it. I just see them doing other things. Davis to Cleveland makes sense. As we know here in Jacksonville, Florida, Kentucky linebackers and linemen tend to do well. You know what I mean? Shout out to my guy Allen. Carlos Basham Jr. Yes. That's really all I can think of. Yes, I mean, Ngakoue left Baltimore. That left a little bit of a big hole there, and they need another end to line up next to Calais Campbell, because he as good as Calais Campbell is, he only got so much tread left on them tires. And so Caleb Farley to New Orleans, great pick. I'm not even going to attempt to say this man's name, but Levi, O period, to Green Bay. I get it. You know, they need to bolster that defensive line over there in Green Bay. They've never had problems scoring. They just always had problems stopping the other people. Like you said, alluded to, Buffalo's pretty stacked. But having another DB makes sense. I don't have big issue with that pick. I think the only issue is I probably see them getting another linebacker before they get a DB.
Where are you going to play?
But that's my point. Because having
they pretty stacked at that linebacker position. I had debated that myself, but I'm like, where are you going?
And that's the issue. My thing about it, because I can see them doing a heavy rotation to a big and speed package on that defense, and so that was why I said a linebacker more than they needed a DB.
Well, I went with the corners because I know they still got to play Kansas City.
Agreed. And that's why I say, like, it's one of those, like, you know, hey, pick your poison type deals.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, another last name that I'm not going to attempt. Yeah, it makes sense. I can actually see him being the pick earlier and then getting the edge guy later.
Mm-hmm.
But I totally get it. And then of course to the like you alluded to, they're returning all 22 starters in down there in Tampa Bay. Yeah, it's kind of just Bruce Arians literally just like, all right, well, which one you think could be a good backup?
Mm-hmm.
All right, him cool. Go ahead
Yeah.
and make the phone call.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and so yeah, man, that's just it'll be an interesting night tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna give you a bonus, and if you noticed in here, we had no running backs selected in the first round of my draft, and it
Not
would have
surprised.
been had Kadarius Toney been taken by somebody else, but I thought the running back position first round now is going to be moved down to the second round, and I really was debating who I would pick as the first pick in the second round, and after some debating overall and looking what the Jaguars already had on their roster, I decided to go with Najee Harris with the first pick in the second round for the Jacksonville Jaguars, even over Travis Etienne. For the simple fact is the fumbling issues that you won't have with Najee Harris, and Travis Etienne has had a fumbling issue. This Etienne probably has a little bit more top speed than Harris, but not much. And I just like Harris is a smooth, bigger back too. I mean, you can't go wrong either way with it, but that's who I chose that they would probably go with Najee Harris over just Travis Etienne. Plus, they needed somebody with some power that can do the short yardage stuff too.
I don't know if they go running back first. First pick in the second round. There's too many glaring holes on defense. Definitely, they
got
probably
another
want.
pick in the second round. That's why I know they're going to go back to defense. But you can't at this time when they've gotten a quarterback and they've gotten another guy to help them with that offensive package to get the ball around. They needed to get the best talent available, and the best talent available that can help them immediately right now. And you can just remember Tamorg is still on the board, but the best overall talent, the best when you go best player, not going draft. Don't draft for needs. That'll never get you where you want to be. Draft the best damn player on the board. No, unless the best player on the board is the best that was something you need and you got a perfect match. Yeah, but I'm always gonna take the best Jimmy on the board. Jimmy, you win with Jimmy's and Joe's, not X's and O's. Take the best Jimmy on the board, and he's the best Jimmy for what they needed right now. I mean, you could, and it was ETN or him. I mean, you could have went with some receivers, but you got receivers. You got a young receiving core. You just added another receiver. You could have went with offensive line, but right now he ain't guaranteed starter on offensive line. You know what I mean? And I was thinking tight end, but they not the best. They're not the best dog on the board right now. And you can still those tight ends are still out there, and they still got the 45th pick, and then they got another pick. So they're gonna get a tight end that's serviceable right now. That's why I went with Najee Harris.
I don't know. Tell that X's and O's thing to Bill Belichick. See if you want.
He is a Jimmy's and Joe's guy. If you don't practice well, you ain't getting on the field, and you ain't gonna be that long.
Yeah, but that's after the draft because he's a need guy when it comes to the draft, and I tend to agree with that more than the best player because, and the logic behind that for me is we got a bunch of Super 11 guys in a room, and who am I gonna get the ball to, and who's gonna block for me?
Yeah, I get you.
And I disagree with what you're saying, and I understand the analogy and the process behind that mindset. But if the Jaguars are picking number one, second round, yeah, that line, yeah, we just got if everyone gets Trevor Lawrence like they think they are, y'all might want to protect him because if I remember correctly, we paid $88 million for a quarterback a couple of years ago, and he got taken out the 11th play, and that right up the A gap. Mm-hmm. Just saying.
You're right.
So yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know about the Najee Harris pick. I'm just saying.
Okay. You're gonna get the last word on that. So with that said, I want to thank you. I think we had some fun doing our first ever mock draft on this show. We got some exciting shows next week, and got an exciting announcement for us next week and next week's show. Once again, hit our sponsors up: She Car, Watch, Game Film, Women's Tackle Football League, Team Sportswear Direct. And then, guys, enjoy yourself. Be safe out there for the draft tomorrow night and through over the weekend. And until next week, when we do a little bit of post-draft and analysis, and we get some special announcements, you guys be blessed. And I thank you very much for tuning in to the Terry McGriff Show.